Welcome back to Local 5 Live, and a tasty way to sneak some healthy turkey right into your diet.
Yeah, as we eat well with festival foods, the recipe is for turkey, sausage, tortellini soup. Have a look.
Good morning and welcome to our kitchen. This morning, Chef Julie and I are joining you with a cans get you cooking friendly recipe. Now it sounds like a lot of words, but it's really a 20-minute meal from Chef Julie's blog. So it's easy, it's quick. Why don't you tell us about it?
All right, perfect. So we have an Italian sausage and tortellini soup this morning, and it is super easy, and it is done in 20 minutes. So what we have going is onions in olive oil, and I did add a little bit of garlic to and it smells so good already. I'm excited.
It does. So
we are going to add some Italian seasoning, and the reason I'm putting it in now is because I want it to toast just a little bit. It'll bring out a little bit more of the flavor.
Okay.
So some of that. And then we are also going to add the turkey sausage. So this is Jenny O brand, and it actually came in links. It's a sweet Italian sausage, and then I just cut open the links and got the meat right out of the casings.
And that's one of the things I would have never thought to do. I always look for the package that is just Italian sausage, but we don't always have that available in every single store. So this is a great option if you're trying to do this and you just can't find what you're looking for. And it only took you a matter of about a minute and a half to get all 6 of them open.
Right, exactly, yeah. And you could use regular Italian sausage if you wanted to. This is just a little leaner, so that's why I use it. And then you could also use chicken or something like that for this recipe too if you wanted to.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the things I will go back to, you put in an Italian seasoning. What if we don't have Italian seasoning at the house?
Well, Italian seasoning is basically basil, thyme, and oregano. So if you have those, then you could just swap that out. Put maybe a teaspoon of each in there.
Okay, so it is equal parts.
Yeah,
That
pretty much. So
it's one of the worst things when you go to make a specific recipe and you don't have exactly what they're looking for. But usually a quick Google search will tell you exactly what you can substitute.
Exactly. There's always something you can substitute with. You could also use fresh herbs if you wanted to. Either way. So we are just going to let that brown a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to add in the spinach right now. So I've made this soup before with zucchini and different vegetables, kale, whatever you have at home you can use. This is just fresh spinach. And I know it looks like a lot, but it's going to cook down.
Was that like
quite
one
a bit.
bag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So so it's going to cook down, and it won't look nearly as abundant once it's got all the water out of there, and it kind of cooks in with the turkey sausage.
All right, so taking a look at this, I'm just curious, can we go ahead and use frozen spinach instead?
Yes, you could easily use frozen spinach if you wanted to. And like I said, you know, I haven't tried canned before, but you could certainly give that a try if you wanted to. But, you know, the vegetable possibilities are pretty endless with this recipe.
Got it. And one of the things that you mentioned is possibly throwing zucchini and things like that. It almost sounds like a minestrone to me.
Yeah, it's very similar. Minestrone doesn't typically use tortellini, which we're going to talk about, but you could use noodles if you wanted to, or pasta, and that would kind of make it a little bit more like minestrone.
Got it. All right, so I'm going to move on to the other ingredients that you have sitting here. So we have chicken broth, which is pretty basic.
Right.
But you also have canned tomatoes and canned beans. So as a can ambassador working with the Can Manufacturers Institute, I thought I would just take a couple seconds to talk about why I love using canned foods. One of the things that I'm a weekend shopper, and typically by Thursday I run out of ideas. Your fresh vegetables that you bought on the weekend are either gone or maybe not as great as they were on Sunday night. So this is a great way to get some fruits and vegetables, well, not fruits in this case, but vegetables into your weekly meals. So
absolutely.
with these have Italian seasoning in the diced tomatoes?
Yes, yep. So you could use any diced tomatoes, but these ones do have Italian seasoning in there. I thought it would just add more flavor to our soup, so I thought it would be perfect for this. But like I said, you could use anything that you wanted to. And if you didn't like chunky tomato, you could use like a tomato puree or like crushed tomatoes.
That might be a good idea if you have maybe a picky eater in the house or children that don't like the chunks.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Now, of course, we have the beans.
Yep.
So canned beans make everything a lot faster than compared to having to actually soak them the night before and all of that.
Right, yes. These, they're canned, but they're just Great Northern, or you could use like cannellini beans. Either would be fine. And then I just drained and rinsed them.
Excellent.
And we can go ahead and throw these in if we want to. It looks like our turkey sausage is almost cooked, so I'll throw those in just to kind of get the flavors going. And I just love the smell of this.
It does
smells like an Italian kitchen. So we'll stir that in. And then we can, I'm going to add the broth. And then we can talk a little bit about the tortellini that we're using.
Okay. Now, are you going to use all of the broth?
I am, yep. So you don't have to. Some people like their soup a little chunkier, but I'm going to go ahead and add the whole thing in. I know my husband doesn't like a lot of broth, but he's not here eating this today, so so I am going to go ahead and put the whole thing in. And then I'm also using whole wheat tortellini, so you can get this. This is 3 cheese. It's available in our dairy aisle, I guess you could say. It's by the sour cream and
Which is
the
a little
hummus
bit different. You'd typically find your pasta in a grocery aisle,
but this is fresh pasta, so that's why. Yep. So, so as you can see, they're real cute and little, and they have cheese in there, so they're gonna make our soup really delicious.
Now, unfortunately, I can't have the soup because those tortellinis do contain gluten.
Right.
Is there something I could substitute as a gluten-free?
Kind of like we were talking about the minestrone, you could use a pasta. So like an elbow macaroni that's gluten-free, you could use that instead, and then the whole soup would be gluten-free.
That's wonderful.
So we're going to go ahead and let this cook for 15 minutes and give it a couple of stirs, and it should be ready. Our soup's been cooking for 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and dish it up.
All right, so while you're doing that, one of the things we often talk about with soups is the fact that it gains flavor as it sits. Is this something we could do in the crock pot as well?
You could. The only thing I wouldn't put in the crock pot and let cook all day is the tortellini.
Okay.
Because it's fresh pasta, it cooks really quickly, and it will probably get mushy in the crock pot. So I would put everything else in there, and then maybe at the last 15 minutes, put the tortellini in there and let it get soft.
Okay, well that's a nice, easy way to do it if you're doing the all-day version and want something quick when you come home for dinner. So here's your spoon.
Thank you, and I know you can't have any,
No, total
so
bummer.
I'm really sorry, but we could give it to the crew. I'm sure they'll be happy about that.
Their lucky day, not mine. But if you'd like this recipe or any of Chef Julie's recipes, you can visit our website at festfoods.com and click on the health and wellness link.
Ciao.
Well, we will, that's for sure.
Yum.
It looks really good. Thanks, ladies. Again, festfoods.com if you'd like more information on this recipe.
Absolutely. Coming up.